So in my mind, I think I'm a pretty good singer. Anybody in here like you crush it in your car when you're by yourself? I have won Grammys in my shower, you guys. And then I come to church and I hear Reagan and Jeremy and Kristen and I'm like, I can't sing at all. Aren't you thankful for these guys, like how good they are? It's unbelievable. And Jeremy and Reagan are normally at our Millsboro campus, and me and Stacey have had the privilege of going on vacation with them a few times. And the last time we were in Mexico together, one night we went and it was karaoke night. And Jeremy looked at Reagan and all of us and said to Reagan, "Is like, you want to go do karaoke?" And I'm like, they are about to shut this place down. And they did. I don't think anybody else sang after you guys sang. It was unreal. Anyway, hey, if today is your first time with us, you picked a perfect Sunday to be here because we're starting this brand new series and we're calling it You Matter. You matter, you matter. We wrote it 3 times just so you would know. Okay, you matter, you matter, you matter. In fact, I need you to interact. Tell somebody you matter. Tell them that you matter. You matter. Listen, you do. You matter even if you sang off key like me today. Woo! You matter even if you got in a Jerry Springer level fight in the family minivan on your way here. Hello. And you matter even if you did not win the Powerball this week. Womp womp. But if you did win the Powerball, I would like to go to lunch with you today. We can go anywhere you want because you're paying, obviously. I have some ideas for how you can spend your money. No, I want to show you through this whole series that you matter by looking at a guy in the Bible who is an army commander, and we'll put his name up here so you can see. Everybody say, nah, man. Yeah, that's not how you pronounce it. But I 100% wanted to name this series, Nah, Man. And I told our team that, and they were like, nah, man. I'm like, okay. So the way you pronounce this is Naaman. Everybody say Naaman. Okay, here's how I want to start out today. Have you ever had a moment where you're looking at something or there's something going on and you're like, I'm going to do that. And then it came down to it and you were like, I ain't going to do that. Come on, how many of you have ever noped out of something before that you were going to do, but you're like, I'm out of here. Oh my goodness, listen, some of you are not raising your hand right now. But yesterday you were in Funland with your kid and you're like, I'll ride any ride you want to ride. And you know what they pointed at? The Gravitron. And you faked a heart attack by the little frog launching thingy. You know what I'm saying? We all know bad stuff. I can't tell you how many times I told my wife before, like, I'll be like, honey, we'll do whatever you want to do today. And she's like, oh, really? Because I've really been wanting to go to Home Goods and Marshall's. And I faked food poisoning in our living room. I nope out of there so fast. And so here's an example of what happened last week where I just kind of like really backed out of something. I have this weird thing I do. Maybe it'll become a thing you do because this is my thing. Whenever I go to an amusement park or a water park, I force myself to ride the worst, scariest, most idiotic ride, slide, whatever they have in the park. Okay, I don't care what it is. I don't care, how crazy the slide is or whatever. I do it because I refuse to be young people. And so I will get listen, the line will be full of like Snapchat and teenagers and one 40-year-old bald pastor. That's me. And they're on Snapchat and I'm good because I'm on aspirin. So let's go. So anyway, last week we went to the Ocean City Water Park. We went to Splash Mountain and they have the Aqua Loop. Everybody say the Aqua Loop. Okay, the Aqua Loop is the most idiotic, stupid, 100% for teenagers ride in the place. Because it's the ride you get in, it's like one of those bank drive-through tubes, You get in one of those, and then the door shuts on you, and then you got to put your feet on a little cartoon thingy, and they say, hey, cross your arms. And you do that, and then you hear a countdown, and it says 3, 2, 1. And then the floor drops out, and for the next 3 seconds, you are praying for the Lord to take you home while water is being forced into places you were not prepared for. And so I hate it so much, but I refuse to be old people. So I did it. I checked it off the list. I rode the Aqua Loop with all the teenagers. And then I thought, I'm going to do it again. I can do this thing twice, okay? And so no lie, I climbed up all the stairs. In my mind, it was like 8,947 feet in the air. And the water park is packed, but there's 5 people in the line, 5 teenagers. And I'm thinking, we are the stupidest 0.001% of people in this water park. And so there's a 17-year-old that is next in line to get into the bank drive-through tube thingy. And he gets in there, and the technician guy shuts the door because you're in like this, you ain't getting out. There's a door. And so then he goes to turn the key, but before he turned the key, the bottom malfunctioned and dropped out, and the guy, whoop, gone. And so the technician was like, oh, that's not supposed to happen. I'm like, you think? And he's got his little like space button board, and all these alarms start going off. And he's like, don't worry, I'll get it fixed, and the side will open up in just a second. So here's actual footage of me in that line, okay? I Homer Simpsoned out of there. I was like, how many of you would have been out of there? You're not doing it. Not doing it. Some of you weren't doing it in the first place anyway, but that's okay. And I was the only one who left. The other 4 teenagers stayed up there, and I'm thinking, this is our future. These are our future governors, leaders, teachers. Lord, help us. But I tell you all that because I was going to go down that slide. But, everybody say but. But I don't want to die in the water park. I am a pastor, people, and I'm 40. And I tell you that because everybody who's in the room, everybody who's watching online right now, we all, don't laugh, but we all have some butts in our life. We all have some butts in our life, okay? We all have those aqua loop moments where we're like, I was going to go down that slide, but I'm pretty sure that guy in front of me just wanted to be with the Lord. And so we don't just have butts for slides. We also have butts for God. I don't know if you've ever done any of these. Nobody will admit this because, we're in church. But what we do a lot of times, we're like, God, I know I'm supposed to believe that you're good, but why is my life so bad right now? Come on. Like, God, I know I'm supposed to, live for you and not do, but all I want to do is, and it's Friday night. Or God, I know I'm supposed to trust your plan, but have you seen my life lately? Like, this cannot be your plan. Or, I know that front row Carrie, she was getting into the worship. She was in it, but I've never felt God before in my life. We have these things, these moments in life. How many of you, just don't lie or laugh, but how many of you have brought some butts into your relationship with God before? Let me see your hands. That's all of us. And so what happens is our butts make us wonder, do I matter? Do I really matter to you, God? Which is why I'm calling today's message, and we'll put this on the screen, Your Butt Matters to God. Which admittedly is my favorite title I've ever come up with in the last 10 years. I need everybody, don't be shy. All right, turn to the person next to you and say, your butt matters to God. Your butt matters to God. All week long, I've been wondering if I could get you all to say it, and I am so thankful that you just said that. Hey, if you brought a Bible, head on over to 2 Kings. We're going to be in chapter 5. If you didn't, no worries. It'll be on the screen. And before we read it, I always like to tell you, if you don't own a Bible or the internet, because I don't know if you know this, but the Bible is on the internet. It's the Bible app. Okay, anyway, but if you don't have access to any of that, we give away Bibles by the case here. And so if you do not have a Bible, grab one on your way out of the lobby. You can pretend like you're stealing just because it might make you get your heart rate up. Just put it in your jacket. But it's free, so it's not stealing, okay? And we just got larger Bibles, so the print is bigger. Yeah, all the old people were like, woo. That's for you. All right, 2 Kings chapter 5, starting in verse 1. It says, the king of Aram. Now, pause there. Aram, this is Israel's enemy. In other words, God's enemy. These are the bad guys. Everybody say the bad guys. So this could read, the king of the bad guys had great admiration for Naaman. Or Naaman. Had great admiration for Naaman, who was the commander of his army, because, don't miss this, through him, the army commander of the bad guys, the Lord had given great victories. Wait, did God just give victory and good things to the guy who did not even, to the bad guy, to the guy who didn't even believe him? Is that what we just read? Maybe I read it wrong. Let's read the last part again. Through him, Naaman, the army commander of the bad guys, the Lord had given Aram great victories. Everybody say, what? Listen, at this point in the story, when it came to God, Naaman was like, nah, man. I am an army commander. I am not a God follower. And here's the thing. Maybe you're in the room today. Maybe you're joining us online today, and you're like, same. This whole Jesus thing I don't get it. Nah, man, for me, I am out. And if that's you, I love that you're here. This will always be a safe place for you. And I think it's so courageous of you to be in church if you're struggling with what you believe with all this stuff. And that's why I love this verse. And I think everyone should, even if you're not a Jesus follower, because here's what this verse shows us. And Nate, if you could put that next slide up on the screen. It shows us that Jesus blesses all of us even before we believe. All of us, even before we believe. In fact, Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, he said, for he, God, gives his sunlight to both the evil and the good. And so what this means is, if you got something, I'm talking about anything good in your life, which you do, even if you're not a Jesus follower, do you know who put that there, that good thing? Jesus. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I always tell you that Jesus is always the right answer in church, and that was your moment, okay? Do you know who put that good thing in your life? Jesus did, 100%. I'm telling you, if your business is on fire right now, you know who did that? Jesus. If your marriage is spicier than a jalapeno pepper, baby, whoo! Who did that? Jesus. Okay, you're not enthusiastic about this, so you got one more chance, okay? If your health is good right now and you are rocking a six-pack, even if you're not, okay? Who do you think took care of your health? Jesus. There it is. I have a friend who's not a Jesus follower, and this friend, everything he touches turns to gold. You know anybody like that? It's annoying, isn't it? Everything he touches turns to gold. I've known him since I was a teenager. I don't think he's worked a 9-to-5 job in his life. What he likes to do is start these side businesses that take zero effort, and people are like, woo, I'm going to throw money at you. And people just throw money at this guy. In fact, when I call him, this is what it looks like when I call him. This is him. It's unreal. And I've tried to get him to come to church, but I think he golfs literally all day, every day. But do you know who's given him all that success in business? Jesus. Who gave him that insanely good mind for business? Jesus. Who sponsors the golf cart he's probably in right now? Jesus does. How many of you know that Jesus was blessing you way before you ever gave him credit for it? Oh my goodness. And so if you're wondering, God, do I matter? You matter so much that God will bless you before you even gave him credit for it. I'm telling you, you matter. And so back to Naaman, okay? God blessed him before he even was following God. And so we haven't gotten through the whole first verse. Let's read the whole first verse. It says, the king of Aram, the king of the bad guys, had great admiration for Naaman, the commander of his army, because through him the Lord had given Aram great victories. What's this next word on 3? 1, 2, 3? But. You knew there would be a but in here because your butt matters to God. So we found our but. All right. But though Naaman was a mighty warrior, he suffered from leprosy. Now, in the Bible, just so you know, leprosy was like the most incurable. If you had it, you were contagious. If you had it, you're probably going to die skin disease in the entire Bible. Okay? And it's kind of like our COVID pandemic. Leprosy was their COVID pandemic. And if you had it, people, they would run from you. Kind of like COVID, right? They would run from you. Like if you were in the Wawa, the Jerusalem Wawa, and you were wearing your open-toed shoes, and you had a skin boil on your toe, people would be doing more than uh-oh. They'd be like, help me, Dr. Fauci, help me, Jesus, help me, social distancing. And so if you had it, leprosy, if you had it, you hid it. And we hide stuff all the time. I don't mean to give you bad memories, but How many of you remember peak COVID crazy? You remember peak COVID crazy? And I am not going to get political, but who does not miss peak COVID crazy? I'm telling you, you wouldn't admit this. We all went crazy during COVID. Yeah. I remember my mom called me and she was like, honey, I heard that the food line has a shipment of toilet paper coming in at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Don't tell anybody, but you want to camp out in the parking lot with me tonight? And I'm like, Mom, I can't. I just got a box from Amazon. I'm in my front yard scrubbing it down with Clorox bleach wipes. Come on, we're like scrubbing down boxes. I promise I scrubbed down a few boxes with bleach. My mom told me to, so I was like, well, she knows something, you know. Anyway, we all went crazy. And remember when COVID was crazy, like coughing got canceled in public? I have never had to public cough so much in my life than during that season. I could be in lockdown for 17 days straight, not cough a bit. Then I go to Food Lion, first time in public in 17 days, and I feel that little tickle in my throat. I'm like, it's 17-day streak. It's going to end right here next to the Hot Pockets. And you know, if you like coughed in the grocery store, I think they came over to the loudspeaker, right? Like, we got a public cougher in aisle 7. Do not pick up the Hot Pockets. There is public coughing on there. And so, be honest, don't lie. How many of you hid at least one public cough during COVID? Come on, just be honest. Yeah, some of you didn't hide it. You were like, there's too many people in line in front of me, so clear the whole place out. But we all try and hide stuff. Now, could you put that verse back up there, Nate? All right. In this verse, all right, Naaman, I'm telling you, he's hiding, leprosy. And nobody in the room is hiding leprosy right now, okay? Even if some of you, like, your skin is falling off, but that's because you sat in the sun, like, for the last 27 days straight without sunscreen on. All right, it's not leprosy. You're just a New England lobster is what you are. But sometimes we can't relate to this because it's like, but though Naaman was a mighty warrior, he's strong, he suffered from leprosy. Okay, whatever. And so I think this next slide will help us, like, relate to this verse a little bit better. And so here's the original. But though Naaman was a mighty warrior, he suffered from leprosy. But what if it said, but though Karen was an amazing mom, she suffered from feeling good enough? But though John was the life of the party. I didn't mean to pick John, because you kind of are the life of the party, John Morgan. Anyway, but though John was the life of the party, he suffered from depression. But though Tammy acts confident, she suffers from constant insecurity. But though Tom was a Bay Shore volunteer, he suffered from an addiction. Hello, are you picking up what I'm putting down now? We all hide stuff, okay? And I promise you, every single person in this room is in a battle in their life that nobody knows anything about. All of us, okay? And so, if you're wondering, do I even matter to God? That what happens for us is like when we feel like nobody knows what's going on and we're hiding something, we feel like, do I matter to you? Like, I got this stuff, I got this depression, this insecurity, I got this, like, do I matter to you? Why would I be going through this stuff if I mattered to you? And so I don't know how, I don't know exactly how Naaman hid his leprosy, but I have a theory. You want to hear my theory? Okay, Naaman, just work with me. Naaman was an army commander, right? And so army commanders would wear armor, right? And so all day long at work, I think Naaman had his armor on so nobody could see his leprosy. But guess where Naaman went at the end of the day? Home. And he would sit in his lazy boy chair, and guess what would have to come off? His armor. Okay, now hold on to that, because we're going to come back to that. And so let's keep going. Here's the next verse, verse 2. It says, at this time, the Aramean, this is funny to me, the Aramean Raiders. Listen, haven't the Raiders played everywhere? Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, now Aram. Sorry, this is a football joke. You can tell who watches football and the rest of you don't. Anyway, at this time, the Aramean Raiders had invaded the land of Israel, and among their captives, which is a nice way of saying among the people they kidnapped, was a young girl who had been given to Naaman's wife as a maid. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is kind of based out of a stereotype, so this isn't 100% true, but in general, Would you say that girls are better planners than men, yes or no? Yes. Oh my goodness. Just think about weddings, okay? And I know a thing or two about weddings because I married my smoking hot wife at one. And I also do weddings as a pastor. And I have never been to a wedding rehearsal where, well, let me start this way. Do you know how many seconds it takes me to know at the wedding rehearsal who planned the wedding? No seconds. It's clear that the lady did it right away. And here's why. Okay, I've never had a groom at the wedding rehearsal say, "Oh, Pastor, I'm just not sure if we picked the right flowers for the wedding. I think maybe we should have went with orchids, but we went with daisies, and I just don't know." Has that ever happened? No. Have I ever had the guy say, "Pastor, I just think we may have picked the wrong napkins for the wedding reception. We went with gold, and I think we should have went with, crimson." Has that ever happened? No man in the history of men has ever said that, okay? And so women, they plan the weddings a lot of times because women are better wedding planners. And I remember I got married to my amazing wife in 2007. I think we have a picture of, this is our wedding day. And by the way, my wife, she looks exactly the same 15 years later. Forever young, you know that song? Okay, that's my wife. I, on the other hand, look like my father. Like she didn't know she was looking at her future in this moment. She thought she was marrying this young guy. Okay, sorry, babe. Anyway, also sorry, Dad. But I love my wife. My wife is the greatest. But guess who planned our entire wedding? My wife. And it's not that I didn't want to. Okay, it is that I have never had an opinion about napkin colors in my entire life. And so whatever Stacy asked me when we were planning the wedding, I just acted like I cared and said, yes. I think that's why we're so happy to this day. And by the way, if you're single in the room, can I give you a tip? I know you won't say yes, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway. Okay, if you ever get engaged and you're planning the wedding, whatever she asks for, you just pretend like you care and say, yes. That's the secret to the whole thing. And all the ladies said, preach it. That wasn't very good, but we'll just go with it. So for our wedding, when we were planning everything, Stacy was like, I really want us to have our first dance under a balloon canopy. She's like, I've been thinking about us dancing under a balloon canopy forever. Now, I've never thought about a balloon canopy in my entire life. But she was like, I think our first dance has to be under a balloon canopy. Do you like that idea? And I was like, I do. I've been dreaming of a balloon canopy just like you. And so fast forward to our wedding reception. I think we have a picture we'll put up on the screen. Here, wow, listen, I need you to look at this picture. Look at the balloon canopy. And keep looking, because we're continuing to pay for it still. So I need you to keep looking. Take it in, give it some oohs and ahs. It'll make it worth it. But Stacy, she met with the local balloon canopy expert, got this thing, and in front of hundreds of people that Stacy's dad was paying good money for, we had our first dance under the balloon canopy. Now, question. If I were planning the wedding, would that have happened? Yes or no? Never. Okay, we wouldn't have had a reception. Would have been the altar to the hotel room, just like that. And I tell a lot of jokes. That's not one of them. So, women are better planners, is my point. Generally. Okay, nobody write me an email. And if you do email me, you can cotter@bayshore.com. Okay, but back to the story. Can you put that verse back up there, Nate? Verse 2. All right, this young girl who was kidnapped, do you think she had a plan for her life? Yes or no? Yes, of course she had a plan. She's a girl, she has a plan, okay? Now, I don't know what the plan was, but in my mind, she's dating Kenny the Israeli, and she's in love. She wants to get married. So on her vision board in her room, she was writing her name, first name, with his last name all over the vision board. On the vision board, she was drawing out her, balloon canopy she wanted to have her first dance under. All right, she did all the stuff, and she's in love with Kenny the Israeli. One day, they're at Finn's for brunch in Israel, and guess who comes in? The Aramean Raiders football team. And they kidnap her and take her to Aram, and she's now living in Naaman's house. Everybody say, bye-bye plan. Bye-bye. Have you ever had a plan for your life, and then life did not go according to that plan? Yes. That happened to you? It happens to all of us. There's the vision board, and then there's real life, right? And this girl, she had a plan that completely fell apart. And we have plans that completely fall apart. And when our plans for life completely fall apart, you know what we start wondering? God, do I matter? Because do you see what is happening in my life right now? If I mattered, I don't think this is what will be happening. And if that's how you feel right now, guess what? I get that, but this girl who's kidnapped really gets that. Now, all right, I told you my theory is Naaman has leprosy. And he's kind of hiding it under his armor. But guess where this girl is at now? She's at Naaman's house. And so one day, Naaman, this is how I imagine it, he came home from work wearing his armor, clink, clink, clink. But he wants to watch Shark Week. He's got to sit in his lazy boy to watch Shark Week. So he pops off his armor, and guess who sees his leprosy? This girl. She sees his leprosy. Now, I know in church we kind of we're not honest all the time, but just be honest. If the person who kidnapped you and ruined your life plans, if you saw that they had a skin disease, or let's say not skin disease, you saw they had leprosy, all right, how many of you would at least be a little bit happy inside? This person ruined your life. They kidnapped you. Come on, be honest. Yeah, okay, a few of you are being honest. Listen, you guys are more godly than me, because if I saw this person, all right, who ruined my life, I'd be like taking pictures of it, putting it on Instagram, hashtag Naaman's got the leprosy, little turkey, And so, anyway, I would have tried to get revenge. But this girl, she didn't get revenge. She got righteous. And so check this out. This is in verse 3. One day, the girl said to her mistress, this is Naaman's wife, said, I wish my master, Naaman, would go to see the prophet in Samaria who would heal him of leprosy. Now, did the girl whose life just got ruined by this guy say, hey, I hope he can go to the right place to meet the right person who will heal him? Is that what just happened? If you would not have done this, just say, nah, man. That's me. No way. No way. But why did she do this? Because even though God didn't matter to Naaman, Naaman mattered to God. And so this girl was like, hey, I know a place, and I know the person who can fix you up. It kind of reminds me of the 4th of July in my house, which is supposed to be a good day. It's always hot on the 4th of July, isn't it? Yeah, that's the day that my air conditioning, that was less than 3 years old, my air conditioning unit decided to say, hey, America, peace out, I quit. And it was so stinking hot that day. Now, it's a holiday, and I am cheap. And so do I call the service repair guy to pay holiday fees? No. I'm a pastor. I pray that God will miraculously heal the thing. And then I go to sleep, and listen, this is crazy. The next day, I woke up, and I had a perfectly conditioned 72-degree house and a pillow that was cold on my ear. No, okay, JK, just kidding. That's not what happened. It still was not working. But I can call the air conditioning repair guy on the 5th. And so when I called the air conditioning repair guy, all right, I was like, help me. I need you to help me because I am sweating and I am an American. I don't know how to deal with this sweat. I need the air conditioning to work. And they came out and they said I needed a new fan. And it was a great process. In as little as 10 days, the fan came in. It was literally 10 days. But I called that guy because that's the person and the place that could help me. Now, did I join a Facebook support group for how to live with a busted up, broken up air conditioning? No. Did I go to Browse About Books and say, hey, could you help me with the self-help books for how to deal with living without air conditioning? No. I went to the person and the place that could fix the problem. And we'll put this on the screen. If something is broken, you've got to go to the right place and the right person to get it fixed. Isn't that true? And here's what I've been praying all week long, that this would be a place where people can come and they can meet the person who can heal them. I'm telling you, I want this basement, this church to be the place where you can come and you can continually every week meet the person who can heal you. I want this to be the place where you can bring your friends and your family and that you can invite your coworkers to, where they can meet the right person who will heal them. I literally want hundreds, if not thousands of people to pour in our doors, because I truly believe this is the place where people can meet the person who can heal them. But if that happens, people pouring here like crazy, we got to be okay with people being real. Because have you noticed that we can fake it in church? Have you noticed this before? Like you say to somebody in the lobby, hey, how you doing? Oh, glory to God, I am blessed and highly favored. I've been singing worship music since the moment I woke up. Woo! Isn't it true that we can kind of be a fake person in the room? Oh my goodness, that's why, this is kind of funny to me, if I want to know how you all are really doing, I don't ask our ushers. And I don't ask our greeters in the lobby. You know who I ask? Our parking lot volunteers. Because they see you all driving in the parking lot on your way to church, and they see this. They see that, and then you get out and you're like, how great is our God? How great. I can just praise in the park. Okay. I just want to tell you, that's not the basement. That's not Bay Shore. All right, we are a place where you can come and meet the person who will heal you. And it doesn't matter who you are. You matter to God no matter how broken and busted up your life looks. That's what this place is, and that's what this place will always be. And so we're going to see next week, somebody was like, well, what happened at the end of the story? We're going to see next week Naaman come to go to the place and meet the person and all that. But come back next week because we're going to continue through this story. But here's what I want you to walk away today knowing. Just one thing. You matter to God. You do. You may think right now, I don't matter to anybody right now. But you do. You matter to God. You may think, I'm mad at God right now. Well, guess what? He can handle your anger, but you still matter to him. You may not even believe in him right now, but he still believes in you. And you matter to him. Your life may be busted, broken up, full of leprosy, but you still matter to God. And you came to the right place to hear about the right person, and his name is Jesus. That's his name. And just so you know, okay, he cares enough about you to make sure you are here today to hear it. And so my encouragement to you is just keep showing up. Because this is the right place to meet the right person who will heal you. I'm going to end with this story. I have a friend named Mike. Me and Mike grew up quite a bit different. I grew up in a house where all day long we listened to the Light FM. Who remembers it? Oh, yeah, that's old Christian radio. And at night, we would watch the Waltons every night. Good night, John Boy. It was very not normal in my house, okay? But my friend Mike grew up in a much more normal house. Didn't go to church a whole lot, maybe some to go to mainly funerals or weddings, but, not really necessarily a church person. And he, like all of us, had some broken things in his life, and what we call them around here is hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Anybody got a few of those? All of us. And so one day, Mike's wife, Kristen, came to church in a basement. Hello. And she sat somewhere back where she's sitting right now. And, right over there. And she was like, man, yes, nay, man. Okay, no, she was like, yes, man, I like this place. So she went home and she was like, hey, Mike, would you come to church with me? It's in a basement. He's like, it's in a basement. Nah, man. And by the way, how many husbands in here know your wife can be persuasive? Come on, let me see your hands if you know that. Okay, yeah, some of you husbands aren't raising your hand. And let me just tell you, in your Christmas card picture, you're rocking like a mallard duck colored sweater. And you didn't pick that out, bub, okay? Your wife is persuasive. Anyway, so Kristen persuaded Mike to come to church one Sunday, and Mike sat back there with her, and the music started, and it sounded like a concert, kind of like today. And he was like, is this what? This is not church. Like, nah, man, I'm good. And Kristen's like, would you just give it give us some time. And so Mike kept coming, and he kept thinking, nah, man. And then eventually he was like, maybe, man. And then in September of 2017, I did our baptism party Sunday message, and I really just essentially said, hey, if you have a hurt, habit, and hang up, and you want to go to the one who can heal you and identify with him and go public with baptism right now, like, this is your moment. Like, let's go. And Mike leaned over to Kristen and said, I'm going to get baptized. And this is Mike's baptism moment. Nah, man, Mike, this is his baptism moment, which is just an amazing moment for Mike. And after this, Mike went online. Yeah, we can clap for that. Some of you wanted to. I hope you can. And then Mike ended up going online and buying a Bible, and he would like sit in his living room in his kind of lazy boy recliner chair and read the Bible, and Kristen would sneak pictures and send them to me, and I'm like, yes, man. And then Mike and Kristen eventually started a small group in their house. Mike ended up started co-leading Celebrate Recovery, which is our Thursday night program for people with hurts, habits, or hang-ups. The next one is not this next Thursday. It's on August 3rd, so it's next Thursday. But he started co-leading that. And then last summer, he was like, hey, can I go to lunch with you, Joel? I was like, yeah, man. And so we went to lunch, and he's like, do you think I could ever work at the church? I'm like, yes, man. And today, Mike works for all 3 of our campuses and oversees facilities. And his wife, Kristen, is our kids director and is so amazing. And so can somebody just say, yes, man? Like, that is good. I close with that story to just tell you and remind you that you're in the right place to meet the right person who will remind you that you matter. Your butt matters to God. It does. So here's my encouragement to you. Just keep coming to church. Even if you're like, nah, man, I'm good. Just keep showing up. Or maybe you take it a step further. You join a Bay Shore group. You know, maybe you're like, I just don't have any support. I don't know who can listen to me or who I can learn from. Join a Bay Shore group. You can scan the QR code in the back of your seats. Even if you're like, nah, man, it's too personal, take a step. Or maybe you go to CR on August 3rd, 2 Thursdays. If you're struggling with a hurt, habit, or hang-up, like you come right here and see Mike. Meet this guy who was in your boat when you're like, nah, man, he was there. Or, and this is kind of like the most exciting one, and we'll put this on the screen. Maybe you get out your phone and you scan this QR code because this baptism party in September on the 17th, you know this is your year. You've been putting it off. You've been like, nah, that's not 2020 wasn't my year. 2021 is not my year. Listen, 2023 is your year. It's your year. You can get out your phone right now. I'm about to do a prayer. You don't even have to, you can ignore my prayer. Just be scanning this QR code because we want to celebrate you linking up with the one who will remind you that you matter to God. Let me pray for you guys. Jesus, I'm always just so almost speechless at the fact that you, who are you're everything. You're all powerful. You're all creating. You're everything. We can matter. Small us can matter to you. And I know what's going on in people's lives in this room is not small to them. But God, in contrast to what you can do with that situation, it's small to you. And you are all powerful over those things. And so God, I just pray that we'll walk out of here knowing that we matter to you because the God of the universe sent his son Jesus down to us. As just for many reasons, but part of it as symbolic of how much we matter to you. And God, I know for a lot of us, the person we matter the least to is ourselves. We have low self-esteem or there's stuff going on in our life. And God, I just pray that us mattering to you will boost how we see ourselves because of how you see us. And God, I just pray that we'll walk out here knowing that we matter to God. And we have all these buts, but life isn't good. But I'm struggling to believe with this. But I heard a college professor say this, and it doesn't make sense. There's so many buts. But God, I pray that you'll help us know that even though we have those buts, we matter to you. So God, just help us and help us to have our head up as we walk out of here because we have a great God walking in front of us, beside us, and behind us. In Jesus' name. And everybody said, Amen. Amen.